Hello, my fellow. Ooh, boy, this is not a good idea. Today, we will be discussing Rose Tyler. And how I'm not exactly... the biggest fan of her. Now, funnily enough, the reaction will probably be split right down the middle these days. More and more often, I'm finding that people aren't so fond of Rose either. Don't get me wrong, she still has her massive following, and they tend to be teenage girls. Sorry, but they do. But the more you search online, the more you find people shying away from her. And I am one of those people. Again, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Rose anymore. You see, I went through a phase of really liking Rose, and then I really hated her, and now I'm just meh towards her. Now I know what a lot of you Rose fans are thinking.
I will destroy your little soul.
I'm assuming that's how you sound. No, you're probably thinking, how can anyone dislike Rose? And I understand that. When people dislike Matt Smith, I go how can anyone possibly dislike Matt Smith? It makes no sense. But rather than just saying, clearly we don't know what we're talking about, just look at it from our perspective. Because I think a lot of people who aren't too fond of Rose will have the same points that I have. Alright, so let's just calm those tits. You're going to take those tits, you're going to calm them down, you're going to sit them down, give them a nice cup of tea. Stroke their hair. Anyway, let's begin with the smaller things that people tend to niggle about, which I tend to agree with. She was so mean to Sarah Jane! And yes, Sarah Jane gave just as much back, but Rose just seemed really mean in this episode, and I don't understand why they wrote her like that. I mean, I kind of do, it's a bit of a jealousy thing, but it went beyond just being a bit, ooh, who's that? And it turned into a cat fight almost, and it just was kind of, I don't know, didn't feel right. Just a little niggle, just tiny little one, because like I say, Sarah Jane was just as mean back, but a lot of people watching that now tend to go, ooh, Rose, you're kind of being a bit of a... That's exactly how they say it. And speaking of being mean to beloved characters, can we talk about Mickey for a second? Mickey. You were a bit of a dipstick, but damn it if you weren't my dipstick. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. No. No, Missy. Not you. This is Mickey's time. Same character. Confirmed. To be fair, they do address this in the show. I mean, Mickey has a go at her saying, you left me, and, you know, they say, yeah, Rose, that was kind of a terrible thing to do, but, even though it's an acknowledged fault, it's still kind of not a forgivable one for most of us. I mean, that's just... She treated Mickey like some disposable thing that should always be there for her, and a lot of us were like, dude, why are you hanging around for this girl? She's treating you like crap. But that's also a niggle because, let's face it, they acknowledge it in the show and characters should have flaws. But the important thing is if you find these flaws forgivable or not. Which for a lot of us, we just couldn't forgive Rose for this. Personal choice? Yeah. Another part that really bugged me about Rose was the first time she invites Mickey to go along, the doctor says,
no chance, he's liability, I'm not having him on board.
And Rose responds with,
we'd be dead without him.
which is fair enough, you know, she would be annoyed that Mickey couldn't come along. But then the next time Mickey decides he wants to come along, her reaction is,
No, great. Why not?
that's a kind of change in pace there, isn't it? Maybe it's because she's getting closer to the doctor at this point and really wants the doctor to herself and feels that Mickey's gonna, you know, interfere with that. That kind of makes sense. So, how does she react the very next episode?
Mickey Smith, Meet the Universe.
totally forgotten about, never mentioned again. She's not annoyed at Mickey, she just had that little moment of, she coming along, and then we're all happy again. I mean, my friend defends this, but I find it so jarring that she's just, this one instant. If you're going to make her jealous, make it some kind of following on to the story, you know. Don't just have that one little bit and then forget it entirely. That was kind of a big moment there. And then we get onto the big ones. The ones that I hear a lot of people complaining about, and I personally have the same complaint. Why does the Doctor fall in love with this girl? I mean, yeah, people say she's brave and she helped the Doctor and da 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 da, but there's been tons of companions that have done that. There's nothing really spectacular about this. Spectacular about this girl. She's just kind of, maybe that's why people like it, that she is just so normal, but for me, the Doctor needs a reason to fall in love with someone. And a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but with River, I think he had more of a reason. She was this mystery to be solved, and people hate it when the Doctor takes companions on for the mystery, but to me that makes more sense, because the Doctor is a problem solver, and he's attracted to mysteries, so naturally he'd be more attracted to a mysterious companion and then grow to like them. Makes sense to me. Whereas Rose was pretty and 19. Ooh. If you're one of those people who hates Twilight because, you know, the whole age difference thing, and then you really like Rose and the Doctor and don't care about the DJ. See, I'm not a hypocrite. I hate it in both things. The Doctor, who is 900 years old, falling in love with a 19-year-old. A little bit cringy. But I'm going to give you a dues. The Doctor did fall in love with her. I am not trying to erase that. A lot of people say, that's not canon in my thing. Doesn't matter. It's not up to you. The Doctor fell in love with her. I will accept that. It's kind of like when your best friend falls in love with someone who's like really horrible, and you're not there to say, no, you don't really love them. You go, why? Why her? Dude, you're making a fool of yourself. Or him, or her, whatever. You feeling me? You feeling what I'm feeling here? I'm kind of looking at the Doctor going, dude, why are you... I mean, it's your life, but... Eesh. But the main one for me about why I really don't particularly like Rose is that she took over the entirety of the Russell T Davies era. Pretty much. I mean, Series 1, we got the introduction to Rose. Series 2, we got her goodbye series. Then Series 3, we didn't have Rose, but we had the Doctor missing Rose quite a lot. So much so that it pretty much took over the entire series. I mean, she was a looming character even when she wasn't on the series. Then Series 4, we got her return. I mean, we only had one series without her. I mean, did we really have that spectacular return that we really all desperately wanted? To be fair, in the special, she wasn't around so much, and they had that goodbye at the end, which included everyone, so that, yeah, fine. But still, the series, she was pretty much flowing throughout the entire thing. I know Russell T Davies really loves this character, but blooming heck, give her some space, you know, jeez. Now, all that being said, is she a terrible character? No, I don't think she's terrible. I don't hate her. Like I said, I used to hate her. I think that's because I went through so long of liking her, then realizing she had these faults, so I went to the other extreme. But now I'm just kind of like, she's got these bad moments and bad things, but yeah, she still has her moments. She's still good. She's still a well-written character, for the most part. And yeah, I don't hate her. I just, she would probably be my lowest of the companions, but that's because I like all the companions, and she's my least liked, if you know what that means. She's not... She's... So guys, am I safe to take this thing off? Because it's actually way too small for my head, and it's kind of crushing my brain a little bit, so... Are we good? We good? I guess I'll find out from the dislike bar. Remember, these are all just personal opinions. You don't have to agree with them. You probably won't agree with them. You probably really hate her or you really love her. That's your prerogative. I'm just shouting my opinions into the darkness off the internet with a beer and... Ow! Don't forget to subby, thummy, you a dummy. And until next time, meh. Where the hell did I get this from? This is like way too small for my head. Hairy tits. That's not, what the fuck am I talking about?